Ian from RTO here. Welcome to another album ranking, and today we are looking at a band called Tremonti, and it is a band that was founded in 2011 by guitarist and vocalist Mark Tremonti, better known for the Creed and Alter Bridge. He wanted to form a do some solo work because he says he had songs that wouldn't fit either into Creed or Alter Bridge, and he said that they were more thrashy and more heavy. So he formed a band. The band at the moment is rhythm guitarist Eric Friedman, bassist Tanner Keegan, and drummer Ryan Bennett. Wolfgang Halen has been a member, Garrett Whitlock has, and in 2012 when they toured, Brian Marshall from Alter Bridge stepped into the fold for him. As it said, what started just as a solo project evolved into a fully fledged band, and they have released 5 studio albums. All of them very good. You don't expect anything different from Mark Tremonti. So 5 albums, so we're going to have a look at these. So coming in at number 5 is the debut album, released in 2012, and it's called All I Was. On here we've got Mark Tremonti that plays lead guitar and lead vocals, Eric Friedman on rhythm guitar, bass and backing vocals, and Garrett Whitlock on the drums. First track on here is called Leave It Alone. The guitars are really strong on this. It is a heavier sound than Alter Bridge or Creed, but it's got some great licks and riffs, great vocals from Mark. It's a terrific song. Then we get So You're Afraid, a solid track. The drumming here from Garrett Whitlock is fantastic. He's a real powerhouse. Great stuff. Guitar work all round by Eric. You know, he's playing rhythm and then he puts the bass on. It's pretty good. Wish You Well, great track again. Great solo from Mark. Solid track. Brains. It's one of them tracks that starts off with that very distinguished melodic start that you get with Creed records and Alter Bridge, and then they come bouncing in with some absolutely killer riffs. Eric's bass line is absolutely great. It's heavy, it's hard, it is a great track. Things I've Seen, another slower one with that sort of more melodic sound, really strong track again. You Waste Your Time, solid track again. Some great drumming here from Garrett on the drums. Then we get one of my favourite tracks. One of my favourite tracks by this band, by Tremonti. It's got that melodic start again, that very distinctive vocal from Mark. Absolutely hits the nail on the head. Giving It Up, another belter. Really hard, really heavy. It is very heavy. It's much more heavier than Alter Bridge. Proof. The harmonies on this are good. It's just another solid track. And then we have another of my favourites, the title track's All I Was. The drumming from Garrett is absolutely stunning. Them driving riffs from Eric and Mark. It's a really heavy track again. And then Doesn't Matter. More of the same. Can't go wrong. It's just good old-fashioned heavy rock metal. And the last track, Decay. Great vocal from Mark. Again, we've got them really strong riffs. The bass line is so heavy, you can feel it if you listen to it on the headphones. You can really hear it vibrating on your ear. A very strong debut album. I was blown away by this. Not a bad track on this album. I love this album. This was a toughie because they're all strong. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.3. Okay, then coming in at number 4, we have the third album now, released in 2016, and it is called Dust. And they recorded this at the same time, during the same period as they did Cauterize. So we got Mark Tremonti on lead vocals, guitars, Eric Friedman on the rhythm guitar, Garrett Whitlock on the drums, and Wolfgang Van Halen on the bass and backing vocals. First track, My Last Mistake. Great opening riffs here, both from Eric and Mark. Drive the song along, fantastic song. The Cage, Garrett's drumming is solid. The bass line from Wolfgang is just amazing. He's a great musician, just like his dad. Great stuff. Once Dead, thundering bass line from Wolfgang on here. It is solid thrash metal sound. Really good. Then we get my favourite track, and it is the title track, Dust. It's Alter Bridge, but a lot heavier. It's in the same vein as what you get with Alter Bridge, but it just is a little bit heavier. It's a brilliant track. Betray Me, another solid track, heavy, hard metal. Great vocal from Mark. Tore Out My Heart. Brilliant rhythm section here. Garrett and Wolfgang drive the song along, and that brings Eric and Mark coming in with their great guitar work, and another strong vocal from Mark. Catching Fire. Love everything from the start. I love the big heavy guitars, the drums. Really, really strong track. Then we get Never Wrong. Now this is a more mellow track, although the bass line is so heavy. It's a great track. Rising Storm. Great track. So much energy in this. Very melodic thrash metal. Absolutely brilliant. Unable to See. Do you call this a Tremonti ballad? Because it's quite melodic. It's got some nice guitar work and a fantastic solo. Another strong tracks on this album. Solid all the way through. It's very hard to rank these, as I said. They're all good. So I'm going to give this one an 8.5 because it is so strong. Coming in at number 3 then, we have the 5th and most current album, and it was released in 2021, and it is Marching in Time. So we've got Mark Tremonti on guitars, Eric Friedman on guitars, Ryan Bennett on drums, since his first album, and Tanner Keegan on the bass, and this was his first as well. So the first track on here is A World Away. Interesting bass line from Tanner, really growly, rough bass. The new drummer Ryan comes in with some great drumming, and you get the solid guitar work from Eric and Mark. Now and Forever, very catchy melodic rock track this is. Very user friendly, I'd say. Great vocal from Mark. If Not For You. The guitar work on this is a very intricate sound from the band. It's got elements of Creed and Alter Bridge. Really, really strong. Thrown Further. Love the little bit guitar at the beginning of this, and then it goes booming into a great heavy melodic track again. Great drumming here from Ryan Bennett. Let That Be Us. Love the nice ruffled guitar at this. It's a crisp, clear drums. I love this. It's one of my favourite on the album. It's another great vocal from Mark. The Last One of Us. Nice track. Very ballady, got some acoustic guitar in this. I like that sort of sound. In one piece, we have a little bit of keyboard in here, which actually gives this an extra depth. Really good song again. Under the Sun, great riffs, nice drumming here, solid bass line from Tanner, and the usual great riffs and licks from Eric and Mark. Not Afraid to Lose. It's one of these ballady type tracks. Mark's vocal on this is terrific. Drumming and bass, you know, these two have got a really solid sound. Then we get my favourite, one of my favourites, Bleak. One of the best starts to any Tremonti song. It's got that lingering note on the guitar, and then you get the bass and the rhythm guitar come in, and you get that lovely vocal from Mark. Great track. Would You Kill, one of the heaviest on this album. Oh, it's hard, it's heavy, and a dirty, gravelly vocal from Mark. It's fantastic. Then this is my favourite track, the next one. It's called Marching in Time. A little bit different departure for the band. There's a bit more keyboard on this, but it really adds to the track. You got this sort of rolling drum sound. Although the keyboard's there, it's not prominent, but it just gives it some extra layers. Great track. Love this album. You know, they've introduced a bit of keyboard, and it really works. It's not there in the foreground, it's in the background, giving that extra depth. And there's not a bad track on this album. And I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.6. Okay then, coming in at number 2, we got the second album. Cauterized. It was recorded at the same time, of course, as Dust, and this came out in that year because I didn't put the year down like a Wally. And it's the first album that featured Wolfgang Van Halen. So we got Mark Tremonti, Eric Friedman, Garrett Whitlock, and Wolfgang Van Halen. First track on here, Radical Change. Absolutely belting. That bass line from Wolfgang really is tremendous. You can feel it going through your bones as you put it on, and all you can hear is that on the bass. Great stuff. Flying Monkeys. I love these melodic riffs from Mark. You know, one of my favourite tracks on the album. It's a great song. Title track, Cauterize. Fast and furious aggression. The drumming from Garrett is just amazing. He plays so fast and doesn't drop a note. It's fantastic. Then we get Arm Yourself, one of my favourites as well. A good track. There's so much energy on this. Wolfgang is really awesome on this again. Dark Trip, another great bass line that really drives the song. Melodic, excellent backing vocal from Wolfgang. Great solo on it. Really strong track. Another Heart. What I like about this, 1 minute it's crash, bang, wallop, ugh, and then all of a sudden it goes into this more intricate sort of guitar piece, and then you repeat it, more heaviness. It's just it's a song made up with two sort of songs that are put together, and it's put together really well. 1 minute you're head banging, the next minute you're just sitting there and relaxing. Great track. Fall Again. It's just one of them starts. It's got this muted voice that keeps coming in and out, and all of a sudden everything comes in at 300 miles an hour. It's brilliant. Great strut. Then we get another of my favourites, Tie the Noose. Great riff, solid drumming, strong vocal from Mark, very heavy. Sympathy, Like the guitar arrangement in this, it's so melodic but heavy at the same time. And Providence, the last track, lots of things about this that I love. Firstly, you get an acoustic guitar, a nice bass line from Wolfgang, followed by some great guitar work. Great track. Again, we've got another strong album. Top bass playing from Wolfgang here really adds to the album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.8. So my number one, it's the fourth album, and it's the first concept album they've done, and it's called A Dying Machine, and it was released in 2018. It's Mark Tremonti, Eric Friedman, who now is playing bass as well as guitars, and Garrett Whitlock, and this would be his last album with the band. So the first track is called That Bringer of War. It's got that lovely dramatic start, lots of riffs and drumming, and then it just goes into this great rock track. From the Sky, one of those tracks has got elements of thrash metal, heavy metal, all mixed into one. It's just brilliant. A Dying Machine, probably one of my favourite tracks by the band, full stop. It's a great start. The drumming really starts you, and then you get the slide on down the guitars. Mark's vocal is hot as you like. It's great stuff. Trust. It's got that muffled sound, you know, when you think it's like if you're listening to it on the radio, and then it comes in. Brilliant track. I like how that track starts. Throw Them to the Lions, that opening riff with a little bit of effect on it is just terrific. Then comes in Garrett on the drums, that boombastic drum that he was produced. Very heavy, a little bit of keyboard in there just to add to the track. Great stuff. Make It Hurt. Again, we've got one of them muffled starts that all of a sudden comes clear, and boy, it hits you in the heart when it comes through if you're listening to it on headphones. Oh, brilliant stuff. Then Trapeze, an acoustic start here. Then the electric guitar comes in. A little bit of synth there again, and it really does add to the track. The first, the last, I would say this is a classic start that marks Mark Tremonti doing what he's done all out through his career and just added a little bit more spice to it. Then you get some gentle guitars in this. Doesn't matter how you listen to this, it just headphones on your stereo, whatever, it just really rocks you. Great track. Then we get a track called A Lock Light Sing. Now, if I had hair and a bit 30 years younger, this is the sort of track you headbang to. It's brilliant. I think if I headbanged now, I'd hurt my neck, and that'd be me done. But there you go. The Day When Legions Burned. Lots of 21st century thrash here. It is just unbelievable. It's one of the fastest songs in the catalogue. As the Silence Becomes Me, got an acoustic guitar start, then Merrick's bass line comes in. It's really melodic, then this keeps building up into one of them power sort of tracks. Great stuff. Take You With Me, solid track. Again, we've got this great bass line. It is terrific. Desolation, it's one of them half and half combinations of acoustics and electrics. I'll just how you get the transition from electric into acoustic. Really good track. Then there's an instrumental to the end, and the album called Found. It's a very atmospheric piece. It's quite dark, very unusual. but it actually worked. It's really strong. It's a great album. You've got the original three doing the business one more time, and you can see how they've grown from that first album. The keyboard adding that adds an extra dynamic, and I can't wait for their next album. I hope we have one very, very soon. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. So there we go. If you've never checked out Tremonti, go and check them out. I mean, if you like Alter Bridge and you didn't know that Tremonti were around, go and check them out. They're just a very heavy version of Alter Bridge. So that's all for this one. I'll be back very shortly with retro ranking, and this week is one that's sort of been asked for quite a few times, and we're going to look at my favourite songs by The Jam. And I'll just apologise, they've started some sort of roadworks around here, which is quite amusing because it's a little sort of cul-de-sac type thing, and so if you hear any noises for the next few days, that's what it is. So I'll be back later with The Jam. Bye for now.